Well, howdy y'all. Welcome back to the channel. So guys, in today's video, I want to go over some skills that I think every man should know how to do. Because in today's culture, we're very babied. We have everything at our fingertips. We've become lazy, and we need to get out of that. So I want to go over some I think essential skills that every man should know, especially if you're newly married or if you're planning one day to get married like I am. I think these are some skills that we all need to learn. So number one would be a good work ethic. Now I will admit there are quite a few men who have a good work ethic. You know, they work all day and then come home. There's others that don't. They can be on their phone and hang out with friends and things like that, and basically do nothing. And so that needs to change. You need to come up with a good work ethic. One day, if you're planning on getting married, you're gonna have to have a good work ethic. But for those who do have a good work ethic, I do want to point something out that my dad always tells us, me and my brother. Just because, you know, let's say I get married and I work all day. I work from 7 to 4 or 5, something like that. I can't come home think that my job is done. I can just sit on the couch, watch TV, and basically take it easy the rest of the day. No, because if you have a wife and you have kids, there's more to be done. Just because you're home doesn't mean that you're done with work. So just wanted to point that out to you guys. It's very important to know that your wife is going to be working all day. You know, if she's at home, she's going to be working all day. Even after you get done with work, she's still going to be working. And so her work day never ends. So neither should yours in that aspect. So number two, I think is very essential, is house maintenance. You know, there's a lot of guys who, you know, well, my outlets in my house have went out. I'm going to have to call an electrician to change those out. It's not that hard to do. My dad taught me how to do it, just a few wires. But, you know, we'll ask them, you know, you could just do it yourself. It's not that hard. They'll say, yeah, but I'm just too lazy. I would rather just call out an electrician to do it. Man, you could save so much money. I mean, people waste so much money on things that they could do themselves. I mean, receptacles are, for an electrician to come out and change out your receptacles is not cheap. Same with a ceiling fan. You should be able to change out a ceiling fan. To change out a toilet. To change out a sink. To build a fence, to do drywall repairs, anything like that is very simple to do. It takes a minute to learn, and that's okay, but that's the point of it. But you can take that with you forever. It's like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you know how to do it. You know, you may not have to do it for 10 years, but after that 10 years and you need to do it, you'll know how to do it. So just things like that around the house that you should be able to do yourself. You know, people nowadays pay people to cut their lawns. You know, obviously you're helping the economy, and I know that there's some people that, you know, need people to cut their lawns, but there's a lot of people who just would rather pay someone to do it than to get out there and sweat themselves. Or even to vacuum. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, people have those little robotic vacuum cleaners now. 3 is car maintenance. Car maintenance is one of those things that, like house repair, like house maintenance, house simple repairs are easy. They're pretty simple. My dad taught me from a very young age to change out my own oil. I've been able to change it every time, and I've saved so much money from doing so. You should be able to change out your windshield wipers. You should be able to change a tire. Here's an example. Let's say, you know, you get married and your wife calls you one day because she went to the grocery store and says, hey, I got a flat tire. Can you come and help me? Can you come change it out for me? Well, a lot of guys nowadays, I don't know how to change out a tire. Don't worry, honey, I'm gonna call someone to get out there and change your tire. And 1, that doesn't make you look very manly. 2, I know that's his job, but I don't want a random guy going out there and changing my wife's tire. I'd rather do it myself. But skills like this that you know how to do are great to know. And I'm gonna go over this real fast. The reason skills are so important is because not only can you help yourself, you know, let's say it was the Lord's will for me never to get married. I I can still take those skills with me, and those will still help me on my way through life. Let's say I get married. That's going to be even greater if I know those skills, because I can take care of my family. Or let's say someone like an elderly person can't change out their receptacles, or can't change their tire, or can't change their oil. You can go over there and help them do that. And it makes you a lot more valuable as a person. A lot of people think that rich people are valuable. They may be, but I think people with skills that know how to do a lot of different things are more useful. Number 3, and this is a big one, you should be able to know how to cook yourself. You should be able to know how to cook for yourself. I don't mean going to Publix and buying yourself a TV dinner. I don't mean going and ordering fast food. I mean actually cooking for yourself. You should know how to make yourself salmon. You should know how to make yourself mashed taters. You should know how to make yourself a sandwich. I'm sure anybody would know how to make a sandwich. It's just a lot of them don't want to do it. But you should be able to cook for yourself. You should know how to make your own food. I mean, my brother and my dad are a perfect example of that. They both love to cook. I mean, I will cook. I know how to cook, but I don't particularly enjoy it. But I'll do it if I need to. I know how to do it. So that's number 4 is cooking for yourself. Number 5. Now this is a big one for today, and that is emergency prepping. I don't mean, the average prepping of, buy a bunch of food, things like that. What I mean by prepping is, I'm not saying this is going to happen. The grid goes down. It may happen, who knows? Only the Lord knows if it will go down or not. But I'm not saying it will. I have no idea. Let's just take that scenario for instance. The grid goes down. That means there's a shortage of food. That means you can't just order things off of Amazon. That means a lot of different things if you really sit down and ponder on it. But let's take the food shortage for example. Let's say you have a family. Would you be able to provide for them if there's a food shortage? We rely so much on grocery stores. What if the grocery store has a shortage? What are you gonna do? You're just gonna starve? No. So this is what I mean by emergency prepping. You should be able to know how to grow your own food. You should be able to raise your own food. Whether that just be if you're in a suburban area, do chickens. Produce your own eggs. Grow your own tomatoes. Grow your own corn. Grow your own, the vegetables that you use all the time. The grocery store is a blessing, don't get me wrong. But we can't rely on it. We can't put our faith in the grocery store. So emergency prepping also comes in with a basic understanding of woodworking and carpentry. That's what people used to do back then. We rely so much on stores and Amazon and things like that to provide for us, and that's not how it needs to be. Electricity, we rely on electricity. Would you be able to survive without your phone? Would you be able to survive without air conditioning? Anything like that. Those are important things you need to learn to kind of consider. How can I get through this? How can I, whether that be, generators, whether that be solar panels, whether that be whatever it is, or just live without it. People live without it for thousands of years. So just emergency prepping. Would you be able to sustain yourself and sustain a family even if things were to go crazy? Again, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not, I don't know. But let's just take that as a worst case scenario. Would you be able to provide for yourself and for a wife and maybe kids? So number 6 of the things that I think every man should know is leadership. We've lost leadership in America. People back down when opposition comes in. We rely on the government to pay for our bills. We can't fix our own problems. We have to rely on other people to do it. I can't pay for food, I need to rely on the government. And I think, there are some people that need it. Like I said, elderly people, disabled people, things like that, but we can't rely on the government for everything. The government will do it, but they're taking more power as you do that. Yeah, we'll pay for it. We'll pay for your student debt. We'll pay for your bills. We'll pay for that, but you got in return, they don't say this, but in return, they want power. Leadership is very important to be able to lead other people, lead your families especially. Men have lost leadership. They've instead given it to other people. I don't want to deal with this. This is too hard. I'm going to give it to somebody else. Be a man. Be a leader. And I know it's harder than what it said and what it sounds. And a lot of people will say you don't know what it's like because you're not married. That is true. But either way, we don't need to rely on other people to fix our problem. We can rely on God, but we should not rely on other people to do everything for us. Last but not least, definitely not least, number 7, that is stand up for what you know to be true. Like I said before and number 6 was, we believe in something, but when opposition strikes or someone higher up than us says, no, that's not true, we back down. We don't stand up, even though we know it to be true, we back down because we don't want to be made fun of. We don't want to be different. So for me, if you've watched this channel, I hope you know that I know God to be true. God is real, and I believe fully 100% in Him. A lot of people oppose me. This is not to pat myself on the back, because all the glory goes to God. Because He's the only reason I'm this way. I think this way. If it wasn't for Him, I would not be thinking this way. But if everybody on the earth opposed me and said, God's not real, you're crazy. Although I know this would never happen, even if my family was to come to me and say, you know, Jacob, God's just not real. Don't believe in Him anymore. I'm going to stand up. I don't care if every single person opposes me. I know God to be true, and I'm going to stand up for it. That goes for anything else. If you know something to be true, stand up for it. Stop backing down just because opposition or just because it gets hard. Stand up for it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It may have not been an easy one to hear, and I hope and pray that you would see the need for skills. Skills are very, very important, especially in today's world. So please consider learning some of them. I hope you find the importance in it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as more content like this will be coming out. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.